We've been talking about cells. Today we're going to continue talking about cells, but we're going to talk about how cells get energy. Particularly today we're going to be talking about how plant cells get energy, and that process is photosynthesis. Before we start to talk about photosynthesis, there's a few things that we need to refresh ourselves on. So we need to first talk about energy. And what energy is energy is the ability to do work. Thermodynamics is the study of the flow of energy throughout the universe. In our laws of thermodynamics, we have the first law of thermodynamics that states energy can be converted from one form to another, but it cannot be created or destroyed. So energy can be changed, but it cannot be created or destroyed. And the second law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be converted without the loss of usable energy. Again, another refresher, we need to review these two terms. The terms are autotroph and heterotroph. Autotrophs are organisms that make their own food. Remember the root word auto. Auto means self. So autotrophs make their food themselves. Those are your plants or your producers. Heterotrophs are also referred to as consumers, and they need to obtain energy or eat in order to get their energy. So what is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process of capturing light energy from the sun and changing it into food. In plants, the sunlight is absorbed by a pigment called chlorophyll. Do you remember what organelle in our cells have chlorophyll in them? If you remember correctly, those are our chloroplasts, the little green bean type looking thing that you see there in that plant cell. That is our chloroplast, and it contains our chlorophyll. Inside the chloroplast, chlorophyll absorbs the light from the sun, and it absorbs all the colors except green. So chlorophyll actually reflects the color green, and that's why plants appear to be the color green. So as a physics side note, certain objects will appear the color that they are because of the light that they reflect. So our leaves are green because the chlorophyll reflects the green light. And if you look at our cell images there, you can see that the green chlorophyll inside the chloroplast in each of our individual cells. Inside our chloroplast, the chlorophyll absorbs sunlight, but what happens after that? Plants also need water, carbon dioxide, and nutrients from the soil in order to start this process. Can you tell me where plants get a main source of their carbon dioxide? If you said humans, animals, you are correct. We exhale carbon dioxide, and we give plants the carbon dioxide that they need in order for their process photosynthesis to make their food. This is the chemical equation for photosynthesis. Remember, I told you back when we did biochemistry that we would need to know those things, that this would be coming up again. So your chemical equation for photosynthesis is 6 carbon dioxide plus 6 water molecules plus light energy yields C6H12O6, which is glucose, plus 6 oxygen molecules. Well, what does that mean? Let's take a look about that at each step. Okay, so we're going to start with that first one. CO2 is carbon dioxide. This is the gas that we exhale. C is for carbon, O is for oxygen, and di means 2, carbon dioxide. Again, should be a refresher from what we did before in biochemistry. So there is a 6 in front of that CO2. Do you remember what that tells us? What that does tell us is it tells us that there are 6 carbon dioxide molecules within that reaction. Next, take a look at the second part. H2O is water. H is the chemical symbol for hydrogen. O is the chemical symbol for water. So we have 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom in each molecule of water. It would technically be correct for us to say dihydrogen monoxide, because monoxide would mean only 1 oxygen. That's technically correct, but we don't say it that way. When we have that 6 in front of that H2O, that tells us that there are 6 water molecules within this reaction. Light energy refers to the energy from the sun. That arrow means yield. It means this is what you get. Again, that should just be a refresher for you. So at this point, we know that we have 6 molecules of carbon dioxide, 6 molecules of water, plus some sunlight. And what that gets us is C6H12O6, which is our sugar. The first product that we get is 1 molecule of sugar. That sugar is glucose. Remember, we memorized that way back in the fall. A molecule of sugar or glucose is 6 carbon, 12 hydrogen, and 6 oxygen atoms. The last part is O2, which is pure oxygen in the gas form. How many molecules do we have with this reaction? Look at the number in front. We have 6 oxygen molecules. Photosynthesis is actually what maintains our levels of oxygen in our atmosphere, and it supplies us with what we need in order to survive on Earth. So let's do a quick check here. Quick things about photosynthesis. What organism uses photosynthesis? Plants. Where in the cell does it take place? In the chloroplast. Where does the energy come from? The sun. What is glucose? It's our sugar that the cells use for energy. Now, on your notes, or if you're doing this at home, you can take and do this drawing to help you refresh all of how this process works. If you're in class, we're going to take and we're going to cut out these pictures and glue the arrows onto the box. This is going to show you how photosynthesis occurs. So we have our plant there, we have a tree. Sunlight goes in, carbon dioxide goes in, water goes in. Remember, 6 carbon dioxide molecules, 6 water molecules go in. In our chloroplast, it converts that into 6 oxygen molecules and a molecule of sugar, our glucose molecule, C6H12O6.